Some may feel that the city of Chicago is at a state of emergency with the crime. While official statistics show a major decline in crime compared to the previous years, what concerns a lot of people in some of the roughest neighborhoods is the misleading information that people read. While, yes, statistics show crime is a lot lower year to date for 2013 than it was for 2012, there's still a lot of areas that are consistently getting worse. Although statistics show crime in Chicago has declined from the previous year, it's still at a national high. A lot of you, including myself, may be able to relate to those affected by the crime rate in Chicago. Growing up in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is also known for very high crime, you live with fear and you live with uncertainty. Today, I will start where the crime was 10 years ago in Chicago and where it is now in 2013. I will go over some of the things I have uncovered, like reports that show how things have changed for the better. First, I'd like to tell you what Chicago, Illinois was like in 2002, 10 years ago. In 2002, Chicago had fewer number of murders, but still significantly higher than other larger cities like New York City and Los Angeles. During 2002, the city of Chicago saw a decrease in overall crime compared to some of the previous years, especially with their murder rate ending at only 656 homicides, which was only a small 1% drop from the prior year. The city still managed to come in well over large cities like New York and Los Angeles. These cities have been known for their crime rate to be very high as well. If we look a little further ahead into the year of 2007, crime really seemed to take a decline in the homicide division. Reporting only 448 murders, it seemed to have taken a drastic drop from 2002. This drop was well over 30% less. And although a lot of officials feel it was a great start for the people of the city to finally get some security, it still did not fall far behind other murder capitals like Baltimore and Detroit. We've seen the first half of the 2000s. Fearful crime rate reach high, then drop. Now we'll take a look at a more current view, 2012 and the year to date for 2013. Murder rates start to rise again, but are they where the crime was in the early 2000s? There has been a lot of media attention recently focusing Chicago's 2013 murder rate, and for good reason. In the first 6 days of 2013, 12 people were murdered in the city. At a rate of 2 murders per day, this puts Chicago at a pace for having 730 murders for 2013. Compare that to 2012, where we saw 506 murders in the city, or 18.7 murders for every 100,000 citizens. While these numbers are certainly alarming, the number of murders for every 100,000 citizens is significantly lower in Chicago when compared to a number of American cities. In fact, Chicago doesn't even come close to making the cut as being one of America's top 10 deadliest cities in 2012. However, this still does not put the residents of Chicago's minds at ease. Lastly, we will take a closer look at what city officials and residents are contributing factors in the crime rates. Statistics show that the main contributing factor are gang activity, but some residents have their own ideas. Recent statistics in the National Gang Center and the Chicago Police Department show that 59 gangs with over 100,000 gang members, which is 8 times the amount of cops Chicago has. Only 12,000 cops on the street. This makes it very hard for them to control all of the violence that surrounds the gang activity. While residents had their own opinion of what they feel causes the crime to increase, like the weather change, increasing crime in the summer when it's hot, and it decreasing in the winter while it tends to be too cold to hang out, there are still many that feel that gangs are out of control and make a majority contributing factor. In conclusion, I have reviewed the various statistics of reports that show Chicago's crime rate has gone up and down over the course of 10 years, but remains higher than some of the major cities. We also have taken a look at the gang activity, which is one of the main causes in crime. I hope this information can truly be enlightening to everyone as to the state of emergency of Chicago has for their murders. While city officials try to fight every day to get Chicago under control, things must take a drastic change. Although they say crime is taking a decline, it must drop significantly lower so that the residents can feel safer in their own city. A lot of you may feel relieved you don't live in cities that have so much heartache and violence. However, there are still so many of you like me that can only feel for the residents of Chicago because your cities are definitely not far behind.